we're recording.
There we go. We're recording and people can hear us. Unfortunately, can't see me right now. I don't know why that is. We're about to. Oh, there we go. Hey, and we're in. Yeah. So sorry about being late here. We're gonna blame Phae on that one, even though it's probably my fault.
Sounds good.
Oh, and we got Taryn in here. Wow.
I'm here, baby. It's time
Even though
for
we were all here within like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It's time for podcasting excellence, baby.
Absolutely. MUME Talk 24. For some reason, I thought it was 25 this entire time. I was like, it's 25, but it's 24. I hope. Does anyone in chat? Did I update it? Does it say MUME Talk 24 on the website?
I have no clue.
Okay.
Hey, Meg. Hey.
Hi.
The
Yes,
star
it says,
of the show.
It says MUME Talk 24. Yep.
Perfect. Awesome. All right. So yeah, MUME Talk 24. Today we've got a special guest with us. We've got Phae. Are you okay with your other characters being known?
Yeah, that's fine. I don't care.
Awesome. Okay, so you play Tega as well, and what was the name of your
Wow.
cleric?
You forgot my character.
No,
Yeah,
Kikyo.
dude. Damn,
Kikyo.
dude.
Oh, yeah.
Kikyo. Well, you haven't been on Kikyo in a long time.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, so I don't feel bad about that at all. But you are our official first female podcast guest. Actually, technically, that was Kinley, but that was a group thing. Anyway, so
Yeah.
way to break the glass ceiling for us.
I know. Yeah, we're no longer an Italian delicatessen around
Yeah.
here. We got some good
God.
female energy.
The
Welcome,
sausage
Meg.
fest is
Welcome.
over.
The sausage fest is over. Welcome, Meg.
Hey. Thanks.
How are you? How's life? Life's good? You good?
Yeah, life's good. Haven't been playing much because it's just been so busy with the holidays and stuff, but I do miss it.
Yeah. Sorry for taking last week off. I hope everyone got a chance to enjoy the holidays a little bit. Even though that was technically after the holidays, I feel like it still counts. But yeah, everyone had a good holiday? Hopefully.
Good holiday here, man.
Good.
Holiday here.
Good.
I told
I didn't
Peter,
work. I took a week off, and like my first day back at the job, just the stress hormones just saturating and swelling my
Cortisol to the max.
just like yeah. It was like some superhero like reverse transformation
Yeah.
after the serum wears off or something. But,
You're like the
yeah,
lizard collapsing.
yeah, it's good. And that Woland episode was so good. I'm still buzzing off that episode. So
Oh, yeah.
psyched for this.
He did super well. We're pretty close to 300 views on YouTube, and I think there's another 100 or two on Twitch. I have to check that out later. But all right, so the pressure's on you, Phae. You got to make sure that
You'll deliver, Meg. I have total confidence in Meg.
I need
total
to.
confidence.
Gee, thanks.
Meg always comes through.
All right, let's make sure
Well,
I got
I try.
Discord on here. Theoretically, you should see us on the. Someone keep talking. I'm just trying to.
I do. I see the event. I see now happening now. MUME Talk 24 with the link. I see it.
Yeah. I'm just
I'm
trying
not sure what I'm looking
to
at.
fix the like so I can see the people talking on screen.
Oh,
For
right,
some
right,
reason,
right,
that's
right.
being stupid. But whatever.
This is the thing whenever you're doing streams or podcasts or anything.
I don't
there's
think
always
any-
7 things going on in the background.
Exactly. I don't think anyone's gonna think Meg is one of us. So that's not something that we're too worried about. I hope I didn't dox your name right there. Anyway, do we have any news this week?
We do. They added a new hill troll ability, which I don't know if we typically don't care too much about spoilers on here, and I don't know. I've not verified it myself, but apparently I think kill trolls can maybe dig like one room down. I think.
Ooh. All right.
That's what I heard. That's the rumor I
I
heard.
got it pulled up here. Let's take a check. All right, so we got a rather grimy hill troll has taken up residence in Warrens. Rumor has it he might be willing to teach other hill trolls a new ability for a price. Ooh, okay, so that says nothing. But, yeah, it does sound like there's a hill troll specific ability.
From my reading the Argle Bargle thread, it looked like maybe they can dig a little bit. So
That would be...
like a single room shovel room kind of
That
thing.
would be pretty sick.
Which is pretty cool. Yeah, pretty cool.
You could basically just camp out places then.
Yeah, but I gotta say, let's talk a little bit. I actually, we're pretty homer on this. We're pretty like positive on new management. But one area I'm a little bit kind of concerned about, anxious wise, is with the troll changes in general and the dwarf. I see the troll changes and the dwarven changes kind of as very, very similar, where they added new abilities and new capabilities, but they're not super clear. And I think people have been trying them out. But what I'm hearing across the board for both trolls and the new dwarven houses or whatever is that the new abilities are like, they're just not super tuned. Like they happen too rare, or the buff, the benefit is either too small or not clear, or people can't seem to like nobody can get it to like take effect. I don't know.
I'm not been up to date on that, so I haven't heard anything. Meg or Nick, have you guys got an ear to the ground at all on that, or?
Meg might have heard something. I haven't heard anything. I'm still sort of semi vacationing. Well, yeah, just started.
Nick's just partying. He's just like, fuck you guys.
Just started work at the last week, so only just went.
Hill
back
troll
to work,
changes.
so.
Yeah, Nick is currently fumbling in the dark, trying to find his shoes and wondering where the door is. And where he is. Yeah,
and sobering up after 2 weeks of vacation. So.
Good check. No, but that makes a ton of sense to me, because definitely like it. I remember when the change for mountain trolls, like the kind of like flail attack, whatever that was, the AoE thing. Right. Like that one definitely was. It sounds like undertuned, pretty substantial.
Yeah, but the bummer is with something like with like the elf changes, like okay, Sylvan elves are good in the forest and scouts. It's like that's just like straight from lore. That's just like nobody can complain if you have a Sylvan elf that the elf is good. Right? It's just natural. It's not controversial, right? But in the case like the dwarven houses, it's cool that they let you choose your house. That's very great. Thank you. But if the things really aren't really like, people are kind of making these decisions underinformed a little bit. So I would, if anybody, not that anybody ever listens to the podcast for advice, but if anybody cares, I would strongly encourage holding off on picking a dwarven house for now until kind of some more kind of data or some more consensus emerges. Because everybody I've talked to just says, "Oh, just get Firebeard, because that plus 10% bash is just money in the bank." But I don't know. Maybe they can tune the other Broadbeam or whatever. I don't know. But yes, I'm a little bit bummed. But it's cool. I hope that the new Hill Troll dig thing is maybe a step in the right direction.
For the record, that is the best advice we've ever given on this podcast. That being, don't take advice from this podcast. So
yes, don't listen.
Meg, have you had a chance to play anything with the any of the new changes?
Not much. I kind of hopped back on my troll for a little bit there, but I mean, cave trolls for the win. So
I agree with that, dude. The regen, it's just so hard to like that one. It may be a passive. I do agree with Nazgum here. Tiny passives are boring, but man, that one feels good. Troth agrees. Anyway,
well, let's do it. Let's intro our esteemed guest, man. Let's do it.
I agree. But before we do that, one thing actually. Okay. So I don't know if anyone's familiar with Sheeplord on the Discord, but Sheeplord has actually been putting together a whole bunch of newbie guides recently and posting them on the MUME wiki, which has been fantastic. I'm going to drop the link.
Excellent.
Drop the link here in the chat, and then we're also going to take a peek at it in not that. This is news. This is not what I wanted. Okay, this is harder than it looks, guys. Shut up. We're going to do a browser window, which is that. That looks good. And then we're going to show this. There we go. Check it out. So yeah, he put this all together, explaining how to do doors, exits, some basic exploring stuff. It's a real shame that the wiki right now is very hard to navigate in general, but he's put together a bunch of really great, kind of simple guides, pretty straightforward on how to kind of navigate the game. So if you guys run into any newbies in game, please send them this way because this is some great stuff. Anyway, so huge shout out to Sheeplord.
That is awesome. We got to find a way to surface this stuff in the game somehow.
Yeah, that would actually be. That's a good point. I don't know how you do that. Maybe
Or
like
maybe that's what I want to build. Maybe I build out a mapper when
Like-
you log in for the first time. It just says here's some links, just straight up, just like links, just like
Yeah.
here's helpful.
Or maybe
shit.
like the link could be like tied into the hint system we've got somehow, or
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, this stuff's really cool. I'll put the links in the video description as well when we post this to YouTube. But yeah, highly recommend checking this out. And if you see him in game, I don't think his character is called Cheap Lord in game. I feel like
That's a Tug, right? That's him?
yes. The idea
That's him?
master.
Okay.
The idea master. If you ever look at the
The
idea
idea
board,
board,
there's
king of the
like
board.
it's like 80% Tug and then like 3% Rogan saying no. That's pretty much pretty much
And
it.
you're lucky to get that 3%.
Exactly.
But shout out Tug, shout out. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, but without further ado, though, we're gonna hop into Ursu. There we go. That's another guy in the chat. We're gonna hop into introductions for Phae here. So, Phae, welcome to the podcast. I know this is like a huge starstruck moment, and you're super. You've been waiting for this for years, and
Yeah, this is it.
a red carpet
Finally,
moment.
finally,
Life
you made it.
accomplishment.
You made it,
are-
Egg. Finally,
Yeah, exactly.
you climbed podcast mountain.
I
Yes,
apologize for the paparazzi that is going to ensue after this.
Yeah.
But
your life will never be the same.
Okay.
But yeah, welcome to the podcast. You mind kind of introduce yourself a little bit and maybe explain kind of how you got into MUME?
Oh, sure. Yeah. So my name is Megan, and I've been playing since I was 15. And I actually had to wait until I was 15 to be able to play, because my dad used to play, and I watched him. I grew up watching him play on this black screen. And when I was younger, I didn't really understand, but I'd always hop on his mic and say hi to his friends. And then as I got older, I was interested in it. Unfortunately, he told me all y'all were little creepers and geezers and stuff. So he was like, "No, you can't play until you're 15."
He was worried
Dude,
about
that's
the
some
new player
that's
base
some
being
decent
creepy
advice. That's some
guys.
solid
Yeah.
ass.
Yeah.
That's a good dad
Yeah.
up there.
He was totally off base. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? Left field, completely wrong.
Yeah. We should bring
Yeah.
him back and put him in charge of the game. Yeah, no, but okay.
But yeah, so and then he thought I'd forget about it. I think this is like when I was 12 or 13 years old. So he thought I'd forget about it because he told me he'd teach me when I was 15. So I turned 15, and that summer I was like, "Hey, Dad, guess what you're doing?" And he was like, "What?" And I was like, "You're teaching me how to play MUME." So it's kind of how it started. I didn't. I don't really remember too much of those days. It was lots of ramen and sitting at my computer 24 hours a day the entire summer spent. I don't remember sleep. I don't remember really much else.
Every
Yeah.
15-year-old girl's dream, basically.
I know, right? It was life. But yeah, and then I made some friends. First ones being like Ugers and Elfhelm and Comet and Dentier and a few other players and stuff. So yeah, it's just how I got into it, I guess.
Awesome.
My
Do you,
dad.
Wow.
well, did you say what character your dad played?
Let's see, let me think. His bear, I think, was fast. Windwalker was his god. Weeble was his thief, and to be honest, I don't remember any of his other characters.
Wow.
I've tried to get him to
called
come
Windsong,
back
or
and
was
play, but he's
Was-
too busy.
You're so
Was
fun.
Windsong one of his, or is that someone else? I'm thinking because I remember Fast. I remember. I'm trying to think. 'Cause
Do you have better memory than me? I have no
I don't
clue.
know. Because I remember grouping with you and him and us running around back then. So I feel like there was another one with wind in the name that wasn't a god.
Yeah, probably. But
Okay.
Do you know by chance like how your dad found the game, or? Do you know what
so he started playing when it first started back in 1991. I have no
Wow.
clue.
you don't know how he
Nope.
found it? Well, I would love
Yeah,
to know
no.
that.
I mean, I could call him and ask or text him.
Do like
That'd be cool if
do
you
a
ever-
cash cab, like call a friend.
I would love to know how he found it because it was cool. We did Trample, who was maybe probably same age as your dad or so, I'm guessing, but
Oh yeah, definitely.
just like that era of the internet, like literally pre-web browser, like that kind of like web browsers were super new back then, and just kind of like accessing the internet that old school way. It's cool old stories, but I'd love to know. But wow, so your dad, you grew up watching your dad have a screen with text floating by, and you're like, I want to be just like that. And then when you were 15, you made it happen, huh?
Yep. Yep. So, and then I met my first Mumer when I was like 16. Her name was Bree, and I have no clue who she used to play, but she was a friend of ours, and she came out and visited and hung out with us for a bit, and it's been ever sailing since then.
Wow. So he was damn. So was it a good journey or a bad journey?
Ups and downs.
Ups and
Mume's
downs.
always been there for me when I needed it. So.
That's true. I mean, it was always
Yeah.
kind of it's always there. Amazing.
Yeah, exactly. I've
So-
met some cool friends, and not so many others. No, I'm just teasing.
Yeah.
No,
Everyone on this
everybody's
podcast.
That's some
cool.
cool.
This is the low point of your
podcasts.
career
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. No, most of everybody is pretty cool. I mean, I love, my friends in the game. That's why I play pretty much. So.
Yeah, and that brings up a great point. So I know you've kind of described yourself as this in the past, but you're a little bit more on the social side of the kind of gamer construct, and so you're the people that you play with is very important to you as you play the game. So maybe you could we've already had a bunch of killer players, so PKers. We've also had like achievers and explorers on the podcast. Where the focus is, try to grind as much XP or explore new areas as possible. Could you, elaborate a little bit on kind of your mindset when you play the game? What some of maybe your favorite memories are, like the stuff that really stands out to you / how do you like to log in and play?
Yeah, I mean, I told you my memory is the worst, but I'll try. Pretty much, I don't know. I just hop on and I like helping people. I like talking.
Okay.
I can sit around and not XP or not do anything and just, as people say, Bree legend, but I won't be in Bree. I'll probably be in Rivendell. But
You mean Grey Havens?
yeah, all the way out west. Yeah, but I'm just more of a social butterfly in the game, I'd say. I like to do things and bring people together and do things for others. That's one of the reasons why I started leading mobs and stuff. I think it was a year and a half ago or so. So.
Yeah, you're pretty much the de facto Balrog leader there for a little bit.
Yeah, I did that for a while. Dent used to lead, and oh man, I'm sorry, I forget his character's name. I know his real life name.
Which one?
Phae?
The guy that used to leave. Yeah, Phae. There you go. Phae would lead before me.
Eric. Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Eric, and then I took over from Eric, and then you took over from me.
Yep,
And
yep.
you actually, I think, surpassed me in time because I think you led it for over a year, maybe a year and a half.
Year and a half. Yeah. It was
Yeah,
about a year
yeah.
and a half. Yeah, it was crazy. It was intense.
Well, if you
For a
like,
while, we were doing it like every week. It was on the dot.
dude.
So.
Yeah, doing it in sub 1 week is definitely if you want to not enjoy your life, do that.
I enjoyed it. What are you talking about?
Doing it every less than 1 week? No, that is not a fun. That is not a fun. I remember one of the first times we were like figuring out Balrog. We were like, what if we did it in 3 days? So we tried it, and like we spent like 4 hours trying to kill this thing, and it was just regenning, and we just gave up. It was not a good time.
We discovered
You guys-
3-day Balrog
Yeah.
too young.
Way too young.
Too young.
Do you guys
Yeah,
ever
I feel-
implement like a time limit where like if you don't do it in 2 hours, you're like just F this and you bail, or do you guys just always stubbornly stick it out?
I mean, most of the time it was stubbornly. I mean, every now and then people would be like, okay, I can't do this anymore. Like my wife's griping. They're not as cool as me. So then they'd have to get going. And then the group would slowly start like dissipating. So eventually we'd have to call it quits when there was not enough OB there. So
I got a question for you, because this is the definition. This is the defining factor of a true Balrog leader. Have you ever mobbed your entire group?
Oh, definitely.
Okay,
I
all
felt
right.
the worst.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I felt the worst when I mobbed Redis. He was like level 94, I think, or 95 at the time. And
Noble.
oh my god, yep, he was on Roble, yep. and oh my god, I felt horrible. The dude pretty much quit after that, and then I just was like,
Oh no.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
stop
here's,
leading.
here's the question. Here's the question. What activity in your life have you done voluntarily, for like recreationally, which has caused you more guilt than playing Mew? I can't think of anything. I got nothing. In my life, the number one like discretionary, voluntary, guilt-producing activity I think has been Mew. I really do.
Yeah, yeah, I'd have to agree. I don't
Yeah.
think, typically most normal and sane people don't choose activities that cause guilt and stress and things like that. So,
I think the three worst places to ever mob someone has to be number one. Balrog's obviously a terrible one, but in that one there's usually people standing by, so you can kind of get it back. Gloom has to be one of the top. I hate that so bad because you just you just have to restart everything, and
that one's a nightmare to get people back in.
Oh yeah, like Mike and I, we've been in the scenario where we both died there. And we're like, you know what? We're just gonna fuck the equipment. Fuck it. We're quitting.
Yeah, fuck it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think me and Peter also tried to do it just the two of us one time, and that did not go well. And then we couldn't get back in, and we were also just like, fuck it.
Wasn't that recently? I kind of remember hearing about that.
No, that was years ago. It was just that traumatic. That's the thing about it.
Yeah.
And the dragon, of course, is always a good one.
Oh yeah, Dragon's another one where if you're not careful, you can mob a group if something goes wrong.
Yeah, yeah, like when casters sit there and cast fireball. That's fun.
So
I feel you looking at me.
I think
yes.
for purpose.
I used to be a proponent of fireball will do a little bit of damage, and then I've like actually tested it more, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a dumbass. Don't do that. Don't do fireball.
Oh yeah, that's great. Purple Sweet Tart in the chat was asking, what does it mean to mob your entire group? So oftentimes when you're leading a super mob, Phae, do you want to explain it?
It's just like so much guilt. Like you're the leader, you're the one that's supposed to, know how to do everything, and you have to have a plan for backup for, things falling short, people dying, for, getting jumped, exits, stuff like that. You're supposed to be like the subject matter expert in it. And then, people follow you because they trust you, and then you have all these people in your group with you, and you just blow it. Like one thing that you can't account for, it ruins the entire session. Everybody dies. Like, the mob wins, and that's horrible because
everyone loses a level, and you're just like,
it's
crap.
it's some code that somebody made like 30 years ago, and it's like, Jesus, why did I not outsmart this? And then everybody dies, and they lose level. You have to go back in. You're all naked. You're all half, low health.
Morale is in the tank.
Your equipment. Yep. Everybody's like, oh.
Some people just don't say anything.
Yeah, so the silent type, and you're just like,
the silent type. I'm definitely the silent type.
Oh my god.
Or the worst, they like retire their character.
Oh yeah,
rage.
Rage
retire.
You feel
I do that
so
too.
bad.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like playing with you.
Real quick for Purple Sweet Tart. So just there's different types of death. Like when you die, you quote unquote lose in the game. There's different types and different penalties that you face. And so if you die in PK by other players, you get one penalty. You lose some experience, but not that bad. But then if you die to a mob, you die to the game itself, not another player, but to you lose a whole level. Which as you advance up and up and up, it's like it gets quite a lot. Like when you're up in the very high levels, it can be days or weeks worth of playtime to lose. And so a lot of the high level stuff, you basically have to have a group, and you have to have a leader who coordinates and organizes it, and it's this really brutal trade-off because you have to have a leader, and a lot of times the leader is teaching and sharing, and a lot of times doing a lot of hard work. Like I find leading very stressful, very draining. So it's a contribution that the leader is doing a service for the group, but then sometimes like based on maybe the leader screws up, or sometimes just the game itself, everybody ends up dying to the game. and everybody loses a level. So if you got 4 or 5 players, I mean, you're literally losing weeks and weeks of playing time worth of experience to get that back. And even if people tell you ahead of time, like it's okay, you still feel bad. You still feel terrible about it.
Yeah, especially with like empathetic players. Like Tim is a great example. Tim is a fantastic leader, but you know, people like he's got a lot of responsibility. So like I always feel bad. Like if he mobs me, like I always feel bad because like I don't care about it that much, but I know how much the leader cares, you know, and how bad they feel. So
Totally.
Dude, Slaya, I remember when you and me first started playing. I mean, not like the first time we started playing, because we played before, but when I got back into MUME, what was that, during COVID? Um, and you and me used to always play, and you would kill me like every
yeah, I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened, but every time we played, you would die somehow.
Yeah, definitely your fault.
It is my fault. I do have a big disclaimer. Also, a nice, great bit of advice on the podcast here. Don't play with
follow
me.
him.
I like to think my sessions are fun, but you're gonna die. So don't do that.
I found that playing with Peter is great for improving the reflexes and for figuring out like how to not die. Yeah.
Yeah, you get lots of practice. You eventually figure it out. But it's really funny because I remember there's one other player who's told me that before. If you follow me, I can't guarantee you're totally gonna die. And that was Nazgum. So sorry to throw you under the bus.
There we go. That's why I like Nazgum. I knew it. So we've discussed quite a few ways of making the game better over the last several podcasts. And you're usually there from like we need more quests, we need more this, we need more that. How would you say we could improve the game from a social aspect? How would that how do we make that a better experience?
That's a tough question.
That is a tough question. Answer.
That is a tough question because I think Discord alone has already improved that aspect. You know, being able to communicate outside of game and have friends outside of game and, you know, coordinate like, you know, Balrogs, for instance. You'd never be able to do that before without Discord. It'd be really hard. I mean, there was Skype and stuff, but I really like things like the events that they do. You know, the birthday event, for example, which I'm super ashamed that I'm going to be missing out. But
wow. Oh yeah, wait, hold on a second. Big shout out. I think it's on. Is it the 16th? I think it's the 16th.
Is it next Saturday?
14th. The 14th.
The 14th. Okay, on the 14th.
So it's Saturday. Yeah. It's Saturday.
There is the MUME birthday, and everyone's going to be on. As a matter of fact, not only will everyone be on, but we will be streaming/broadcasting some of the shenanigans. Unfortunately, I don't think we can do it live, which would be a normal.
Oh, last year was an all-out brawl. It was amazing.
It's gonna be pretty nuts. We're gonna be having like a delay on the stream, and we'll be watching people, and ideally we can have some people on, and they can like have some like post combat interviews. Like, we did a great job today, enemy team fought well, but fuck up, you know, whatever it is. So yeah.
Are you allowed to cuss on this? I feel like you shouldn't. No, I'm just teasing.
We're definitely cussing.
Not a radio station.
Yeah.
I can just see the way Peter just said it. For some reason, I'm just picturing like people when they, you know, won a Grammy or something. They're like, I want to thank my mama and Jesus and everyone else that helped me.
Exactly. We're gonna want some
Win
people thanking their mothers for sure.
Oh God. Yeah, I really hope the Norwegian and Swedish groups start playing again.
There's been a lot of folks on. Wolin's been playing. I saw a Boggeron not too long ago. I hear that Ridar and maybe is Ridar and Hazezel. Definitely Ridar. It was spotted recently. There's been a lot of people getting warmed up. They're getting ready to take some souls. So
nice. Yeah, I'll be missing it because I have other better plans like Disney. But yeah, part of me is like sad. I'm gonna be missing it. I'm like, no, maybe I should bring my computer to Disney with me. But you know, it's an addiction. So
I always
Just sitting there on the teacup ride.
we
Your
should
laptop off.
we should totally do a segment where we like look at people's setups for MUME, because I've actually met Meg, and I know like how she plays, and she's got one of those like Surface Pros that's like this big and like a not a real keyboard, and that's what she plays on. I can't. At one point we
Yep.
tried this thing where there was a bunch of us in a room, all Mumers, and we all like we just basically Rogan, don't demote us, but we this is like 10 minutes, but we all switched to different computers, so we're playing each other's characters, like we basically rotated like musical chairs around, and like no one could
it was
fucking do
musical chairs.
anything. We were
It was the worst thing
it was
ever.
horrible. I had no idea how differently everyone plays the game.
I mean, not only that, but just like aliases in general.
Yeah,
was,
alias,
like,
just
the
screen
worst.
size, like screen settings, like what is these colors, you know?
Colors. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
It's
So,
such a
that
personal
was
choice
fun.
for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, Jen, we were just talking before the podcast. You didn't even use a QWERTY keyboard, so I'd be so boned using your setup.
Yeah. I mean, it's great because even if you knew my password, you wouldn't be able to type it in.
And then we got Mike. You use light mode, which is, I have to say,
I've actually switched. So the older you get, children, your eyes are your most like one of your most very precious things. So I've invested a lot in readability and legibility of text. And yeah, I found there's a thing called solarized, one word with a D, solarized, and it's a special color scheme based on a ton of research into like eye impact and eye comfort, and so I use that. There's both a light color scheme and a dark color scheme, but it helps me with I mean, I'm at the computer 15 hours a day, sadly. So it helps me a lot. So that's what whenever you see my crazy
all
videos
MUME.
where I have like a light color scheme, yeah, all MUME. Yeah, just leveling up lobies constantly. Yeah, so I use that solarized color scheme.
oh, also wanted to shout out, Taryn, you recently helped improve Mapper, right?
Yeah, I'm coding a little bit. It's fun. Jahara gave me the advice. Is like when you have kids, you can't. It's really tough to play when you have small children. But he's like, you can code. You can just like close the laptop anytime. And I was like, oh, that's very good. So I've been coding on Mapper and building some fun stuff and building some cute features. So
Which is fantastic. I think
kind
your
of
last one,
shifting my. Go ahead.
you basically made it so that you can remove some of the big white bars for.
Yeah, trying to. Yeah, what I do is I try to look at like. I lurk in the Discord and I see whenever people ask about a feature or they say like, "This looks cool. How do I get it?" That's like a little hint. That's like a really, really kind of like authentic, unprompted, unsolicited sort of like feedback. And so, Slay, a lot of like when you make your videos and you do all your movie magic to have the map just sort of like a isolated floating little canvas without a lot of chrome. It's just like the cool Middle Earth thing. So I was like, okay, I know a lot of people wanted that. So I was hacking around to try to make that happen. And I got pretty far. I actually set up Mapper so that the back canvas would be transparent in Mapper. Like, yeah, so you could just literally just be like the
map on top of the-
rooms. Like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. That stuff gets pretty gnarly from like a coding standpoint and testing and making sure it works on a bunch of different platforms. So I backed off on some of that. But yeah, I made it so you can hide the scroll bars, hide the status bar. But I'm basically trying to take like a personal project to make Mapper a really, really good out of the box experience. So my dream is someone goes to mume.org, they click the play here button. That does not a big ass web page with a bunch of overwhelming options and text as it does now, but instead it's like, to play, download the MUME client. You download that. It's Mapper. It's if it's laid out well and it has guidance, it facilitates and helps you go. So that's kind of my personal project a little bit to help evolve Mapper towards being a really good out of the box new client experience. So just doing some fun stuff like that.
Well, I'm super excited to see where that goes, because I'm sure Jahara could use the help, and with two of you guys and there's other people involved as well. I know that they're working on Mapper here and there, but yeah, we need to get Woolen done on that too. I
was
can't-
inspired. Woland is so inspiring. He's such a badass. So.
I cannot wait to see the future of Mapper, because I agree. I think that's like the key to like really popping off here. Meg, I got a question for you. What client do you
Yeah, what's
use?
I use Mudlet now. I
Use
used to use
Mudlet.
JMC before.
Okay. Okay. So
What made you switch, Meg? Like, what are the killer features? Like, what are the killer features in a client where you're like, I gotta have this or I gotta have that? Like, what
So
makes you pick?
So JMC was great. I loved it. That's what I learned on. That's what, my dad uses. And it's what I had used forever up until, when Slayer had mentioned our little round robin with the computers and stuff. And somebody else there had Mudlet. And I was like, oh, what is this? And it had just like a nice flow to it. It was very customizable. I liked that you could add buttons and different things to it to help you control the game more. So instead of it does go off of Lua, which I'll be honest, I'm not the best at. I have friends that help me along the way with the coding and stuff, um, but yeah, it has just like so many features. The JMC is great for starting. It's great for, people that it's kind of like I compare it to an iPhone and an Android. So iPhones are great. They're, they got everything. It's not really customizable as much as an Android is. And yeah, so that's pretty much the difference there.
Gotcha.
Got it.
Yeah,
The whole
Are there
war of iPhone versus Android. I was like, oh.
are there
I'm
particular
starting a
like
war here.
are there particular scripts or features that really make or break for you? Like if you just downloaded Mudlet without your friend's scripts or whatever, just started playing, you'd be like, oh shit, I missed this. Or, oh god, I gotta have X or Y. What would X or Y be kind of?
Um, my timers that I have definitely.
Like for spells?
Spells, not only that, but like also blind timer is really
Oh, okay.
useful.
Okay.
It picks up anytime anybody in the room casts blind, and then it's like it picks up the target that it was affected by, and it sits there and tells you how much time's left on it. It names the target for you. In the blind timer, it has like a little scale. It counts down the seconds, and like it goes from green to yellow to red when it's running out.
Oh wow.
And you can just sit there and like,
That's
you know,
fancy.
yeah, and it will do all of them. Like I don't have to be the one casting it, which is great. Um, and unfortunately, I didn't make it. Chris did. So I already have people messaging me asking if they can have it. I would have to ask.
I told you, man. The paparazzi are no joke here. Could you also? So you said Chris made it. Who does Chris play? Just for the
He
audience.
plays Oh, sorry, he plays Bite.
Bite. Got
Yeah,
it.
so
It's
he's
with a
been
Y,
my
right?
Lua go-to guy.
Gotcha.
No, Bight.
Oh yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, so.
The interesting thing, what I'm realizing is, I know everybody or a lot of people like to geek out and like really have a crazy tricked out client, but I'm trying to figure out. My theory is that there's like 4 or 5 common killer features that are like the critical shit, and I'm just trying to kind of figure out. Like I think spell timers, like status timers, like blind and maybe block door. I think those definitely. A lot of people like having a separate communications window, so they have a separate place for tells and
Oh my
narrates.
God,
Like
yes.
I'm
That
just
used
trying.
to, no, that's huge because like now that you mentioned it, JMC doesn't have that. And that's
Yeah,
something that I would always lose in text, like when scrolling and things like that. Just,
right.
spam would go through and I wouldn't see somebody message me. Now I have it all separated for like narrates and tells and says and emotes and all of it's just separate. So I
Oh,
can just go
everything,
back and
even
look.
saves and emotes. Okay, interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I'm just slowly trying to figure. Like I'm trying to basically work towards like a community consensus on what are the absolute like killer features. Because maybe we can just build those into Mapper so everybody has at least a common kind of there's a common
I mean,
denominator. And
everybody could just download Mudlet, but yeah.
yeah, maybe that's the answer. Maybe that's the answer. But I want noobs. I don't. My dream is that there is zero friction between visiting MUME.org and being up and playing. Right? Like I want it to be an inviting, embracing experience. I want people to see that icon on their computer and be like, I gotta check that shit out again. And I would even like it to where like if you run it again, and then like a little thing pops up and says you got 8 open quests. Click here to view your quests. Just like shit that just pulls you back in, so to speak.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Like a little reminder where you're at with your own
Right,
self.
exactly.
Yeah. I'm the worst. I always forget, like when I'm doing something with a character, whether I'm changing their stats or, trying to train up and down things or repracking. I always forget. I come back like later and I'm like, oh, what was I gonna do with this person?
Yeah.
Again? I don't know.
And now they're old, and
Nice
you're
if
like,
you
well,
could-
crap.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
it'd be nice. That kind of reminds me of something I've thought before. Like, it'd be nice if, I mean, you could do this in client scripts, but it would be kind of nice if you had like a server side way of, just like gods have a ability to drop notes on your character. They tell you what a naughty person you've been, and that stays on your account forever and ever. But it'd be nice if you could have personal notes per character,
like a
just
private who is or something.
yeah, or just be like, so you could be like, so I mean, I kind of use my I use my who is like,
Yeah, I
as
use
you know,
my
like
for notes,
yeah, for like rate power rings and stuff. So I'll be like, E14 means emerald
Oh,
ring
yeah,
on the
yeah,
14th
yeah.
or whatever.
Don't ever who is me and stalk. No, don't ever stalk OIE looking for me. When you see that.
But it's good. You can always tell who Aminye's alts are because he has the exact same who is content.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's a
Who is
Minye. That's a Minye.
Oh, his DK direction.
Description.
Yeah, his DK. Exactly. I'm like, oh, there's Minye's new character.
Yeah,
There
you need
go.
notes. You need private notes for that kind of stuff.
There you go. There you go.
Meg,
Yeah.
I'm sure you're familiar with this, but when you're a Balrog leader, oftentimes you have to drop notes. You'll put them in your who is or a description. So you always have like these descriptions walking around where it makes no sense to anyone. You just got a bunch of
I've
random
been
names.
guilty. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been guilty of that before. People are like, what's with your character description? Like, what's going on there?
Don't worry
I'm
about
like,
it.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
But tell us. So Meg, is it fair to say like 2 or 3 years ago you had not led many smobs? Is that fair or?
Oh yeah, that's definitely
Right.
fair.
So
I used to
in
follow.
2 years, in like 2 or 3 years, you went from very, very little smob leading experience to consistently leading Balrog, right? In 2
Yeah.
years. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an amazing
Yeah.
achievement.
Thank you.
Tell us about that journey. Like, tell us about that.
How was your villain arc?
So I
Yeah.
used to just redshirt everybody for the longest time. Like I was always Elfhelm or Comet's redshirt, and then as time passed, people go in and out of the game and everything. And then for a while, I think it was like back in 2015 or 2016, I was redshirting the Norwegians and the Swedish, and following them, trying to pick up their language some because I'm really interested in languages. So I'd always bug them to teach me sayings and stuff, and like I remember like them teaching me random stuff like I have a dog, like no use whatsoever, but and I used to just have to have somebody online, and if I didn't know anybody, then I'd be sitting around doing nothing and wasting my time and being bored. And then I started, I think it was about 2 years ago. Just met new people and I got tired of waiting. I was like, you know what? I was like, if I need this equipment, I'm gonna go out and get it myself. And I was like, if somebody else needs this equipment, I'm gonna go help them. So, and that's just kind of what started the trend, I guess. I learned a lot of it from Dent, so I can't like take all the credit there.
Dent's the man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and a Minye
Dent,
too.
Dent is like a social operating system for MUME. Everybody knows him. Everybody loves him. He's always helpful. He's always facilitating community. So you're like that too, Meg. Both you guys.
Yeah, and you're Meg. You're one of the sort of few people that I trust to lead me around because you know me, I'm such a control freak. Like usually I'm like, no, I'm gonna lead. Like, if you want something done right, no, but like you're one of the few people that I'm like, yeah, no, Meg's gonna lead.
Okay,
I'm gonna sit back, hit my assist button, and
no, I like it when you
drink.
lead, so I can do that.
No, I put you to work. I'm like, I'm gonna sit back here, drink my drink, and yeah.
Well, you trained me well, so what can I say?
Yeah, I like leading, but I'm just like I'm personally an extreme introvert, and so to me, leading is very draining. Just like the thinking, coordinating, the social aspect of trying to like keep everyone happy. Like it stresses me out. So
Leading is stressful.
It is. It's very
Requires
stressful
skill.
for me. I'm like, oh, it feels like work for me. I'm like, oh god, I'm
It's
just gonna go
requires-
make a level 10 Hobbit or something, But Do
Stay
you
in
find
cog.
it like? Do you find it stressful, Meg, or you just like feed off it? You just like
Um,
you find it kind of innovating.
yeah, I wouldn't say. I mean, it's stressful at times. It's mainly more stressful when you're, leading something more dangerous and there's like new people or they've never done it before, and then you kind of know you have to walk, them through, hold their hand, and I mean, kind of in a way babysit, but it's not so much that. It's literally teaching. So it's you got
Right.
to lead, you got to be talking to everybody, you have to, be telling them like, hey, if, this happens, this is how you react. If, you're gonna go in and we're gonna nuke this target first, and then this is what I want you to do. So it's kind of like very much like step by step with the process and teaching and explaining. Um,
I do enjoy the
I
teaching,
don't,
and I
yeah,
think it
I
is
was
an
gonna say I
internal. I
don't
think it's
mind.
yeah. I
I don't
love the
mind.
teaching. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind doing it. And I like I said, I like the social aspect of it. So getting people together for things and, just having,
Yeah.
I mean, I get a lot of crap for it from darkies and stuff all the time because they'll be like, oh, you and your Zerg army or whatever. But, like, whatever. I'm helping people
Yeah.
get things that they
Screw with you.
otherwise wouldn't get. So, and I don't mind it.
And I think it's just an internal heartbreak that the game does not do more to incentivize or reward uh, exactly that, the leading, the teaching. Because every single person
Talking
we have on
about,
the
I have like
podcast,
so many friends and I got like a bunch of TPs.
there you go, there you go. Okay, TPs. But we need to do
TP
more
leader.
because every single person who comes to the podcast, including like the all-time greats, like the all-time Hall of Fame players. If you ask them how they got started, they found the game somehow, and then somebody took them under their wing and taught them. And that is always it. It is always the moment. It's always an apprentice master, a big sibling, big brother type model that really
Dad
makes
daughter.
the game work. Big sister type, or or literally father daughter is in Meg's case. So I just wish the game could do more to reward that. Um, but you know what always happens with me is like if I get someone I'm kind of intimidated by, like Telperion in the group, I'm like, oh, I can't Telperion. And then I'm like nervous about, I have performance anxiety the whole time.
Man. Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm
There's
like,
been
I don't
times.
want to, I don't want to embarrass myself by screwing up in front of Telperion. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
I gotta be on my game.
I've
Come on,
I felt
I
like
gotta do
that.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like that recently. So Stolp's been back, and one day I was leading him around and I didn't know it was him, and then it came out and I was like, oh shit, I'm totally making a fool of myself. So
You know what the greatest feeling though is when you do group with one of those superstar characters, and it goes pretty well, and you feel like, okay, like I think I did pretty good, and like the next day you see them and they invite you to group, and you're like, yes, yes,
yeah, I think they like me.
I have passed the test.
Mhm.
Isn't that intimidating? That because I mean I remember when a few years ago when because I learned I was kind of a mediocre player until I learned from Lewis and Elistair. And I remember one time when Elistair had an incog character and he was following me around because I was a warrior and he's
Yeah.
playing a caster. And I was like, it was kind of, I relaxed, a little bit into it. But at first I was like, oh my goodness. I'm like, because in my mind, he's like the most experienced. I mean, it may be controversial to say, but in my mind, he's the most experienced player. And it's like,
I'd say
I'm
he's
leading,
certainly
Yeah.
I'm leading around the superstar of MUME.
No, I
like
definitely.
every single thing he does, he wants to do it at a very high level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get nervous playing with Elistair.
Yeah. No, I remember grouping with you guys back then, and him, Alistair, and of course Lewis and Schmidt. So
Ah,
I
Schmidt.
remember. Yeah, I was gonna say I remember those groups and stuff. But let me see. What was I just saying? Totally lost my train of thought. Sorry, guys.
No, you enjoy leading. It's fun. You enjoy it. It's
Mhm.
it's
You're talking about
Yeah.
Stolb and
Oh, that's what it was. It
Still,
was
yeah.
Lewis. Yeah, you mentioned Lewis and Incogs and like leading people around. Man, Incog. Okay, so anytime it's a character that I don't know, I'm just gonna assume it's either Lewis or Slayer. And Slayer definitely, because he sits there and will message me in Discord and be like, "Hey, yeah, we played last week. I didn't tell you who I was though." Like, cool story. Thanks for letting me know I was there.
You gotta have your incogs, you know. You gotta try some stuff.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
how would you say your like leadership style is though? Like in terms of like finding new groups. Like let's say someone wants to do Balrog right now. Like how do they get into that? And then B, like, are you more of the because like for instance, Elistair is a great example of like. I wouldn't say over controlling, but like he will take you by your hand and step. Like you're getting like messages all the time from like go east, go west,
Yeah.
flee. You know,
Orchestration.
Like,
Orchestration.
exactly.
Yeah.
Or are you more kind of the laissez faire, like you know the Reich, like yeah, you'll figure it out. Like if he dies, he dies.
So
You know.
I'd say somewhere in the middle. Like I'm not talented enough to pull the commands like Alistair does. You know, like I am not that great at multitasking when it comes to moving and talking. Like Nazgûm does that all the time. You know, we'll be in Moria, we'll be chasing people, and he'll be like telling me where and moving at the same time, and I'm like, how are you doing this? Like this doesn't make any sense. I only have one like text box that I can put in a command at a time. Like blows my mind. I know hotkeys and all that, but whatever. Um, so yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm that advanced or controlling, I guess. I don't know. I just like the social aspect of it, and I get people together. New people are always welcome to join. You know, I lead random people all the time. Make some
What
really
were
good
the
friends out of it.
What were the biggest leadership tactics like you learned? Like compared to the leader you were and the leader you are now, was it like what were the growing pains? What were what were the improvements? Like what does it mean to be a leader in MUME? What did you learn there?
Being able to react and be aggressive and assertive when needed. So I wouldn't really say I'm either of those by nature. And so needing to select a target when being jumped, needing to be able to say like, you know, meet us, 3 east and all south or something, like being able to just like pick a location to regroup and being able to, a lot of my mistakes are when it's involving PK and it's like,
Being able to shot call,
we,
basically.
yeah, because it comes obviously, obviously we're not doing the tracking. We don't know we're being tracked kind of thing. I mean, I always assume it's going to happen. I always assume they're following me. So, but yeah, just being able to communicate that in a sense of urgency when it happens, that oh shit moment. So, I feel personally I've improved in that aspect. So, most of the people I group with lately have been like, they've been characters and players who are like a little more PK heavy, so they already know how to react, which is great. And then I've been learning a little bit in that aspect as well, so it's just not my strong suit.
Who is really good to learn from? Who do you really
Good
learn
question.
from?
So,
Like who's the opposite of Slaya, basically?
Yeah, basically.
Oh.
Thank you for that.
No, I'm joking. Slaya knows I'm joking. Slaya
but
knows.
not really. But not really.
He
but
knows I'm joking.
So
No.
who would you say?
I'd have to say Nazgûm. I've been following him a lot for, like the tactics and the strategy and the, stand here and open this door and just wait, kind of like it's a game and it's like, the whole hunting, like the cat and mouse thing, and it's like you have to preemptively think about, what they're gonna do and, what you want them to do, kind of thing. So I've been learning most of that from him, but then, like I've been playing a lot with like what Tom and Scott are my friends, and they are also really PKers. I wouldn't say PK heavy. They just know how to PK when it happens. I'm not sure if they're actually people who go out and hunt for it as much as like
They
the
panic
players.
well.
I know. No, they don't panic. That's the thing. They don't panic at all. Those two don't. Those two will make
Who's
other
sorry? Say
people
it again.
run from
Sorry.
them.
Who is it?
Tom and Scott. I don't know if you guys
Okay.
know them. Shit, I don't want to blow their cover and their
Sure.
characters.
Yeah. Okay. Just curious.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah, so they're like really reactive to PK. So, and then of course when your whole group feels more confident, then it's like what are you worried about, So
It's always great to have like two leaders in a group too, because I mean, I don't know if you found this, but there's a lot of times, especially when you're like become a kind of a named, like if you've led a lot of groups, like you become the Phae group, you know, like people are like, oh, Phae groups around, you know, and you'll be targeted a lot. And having that second leader is really helpful if like you have to, if you get just nuked down and either die or have to bounce, you know, you never want that.
I'm always targeted.
Exactly. You never want that group to be headless, essentially. So if you've got a secondary in there who's like, okay, follow me, you know, that's always fantastic because you never want to be in that situation where it's like, yeah, you leave and then the group just like explodes, you know, which I'm sure happens or maybe doesn't happen to everyone else.
Meg, do you feel like you've done it all, kind of like you've like you've played through, or like do you? I know you said you're not playing much now. Do you feel like there's nothing to come back to, or you do want to come back, or like how do you feel about your playing career relative to like what's left to do or what the game offers now?
Oh yeah, I mean, like, so with me, it's always social, right? A lot of my friends quit, so it's kind of hard to, come back and play when I don't know. Yeah, everybody makes these new characters all the time. I play the same old characters. I have like literally 10 people on my account and that's it. And and there's people who have like 50 darkies and 150 pukes or something. And I don't have the time for that. I got my kid and stuff and work now, and it's just I would love to come back, and I don't think I'm going to ever not come back. It's just a matter of whenever I have time. But as far as like accomplishments, I wouldn't say I've accomplished everything. I'm not big on quest. I don't know hardly any of the quests in the game. Embarrassingly to admit. I know like traveling, that's great to have.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
yeah. It's like the main one right there. I know that one. I have no clue how to mix, like, remove poison or anything like that. Like, those ones, I don't know any of those. But yeah, so things like that I still need to learn. Obviously PK. I enjoy it. I'm just not good at it, and I'd like to get better at it. So I'd like to, put up a fighting chance and maybe one day get jumped and murder all of them, kind of thing. So
the dream of all MUMers.
I know, right? That'd be epic.
Yeah, for the low cost of 5 years of your life, you can achieve that dream.
Yeah, I know, right? But so there's definitely things to do. It's just right now it's just been really busy and majority.
What are your like pain points? What would you change? Like if you had a magic wand or 3 wishes or something to change something about MUME to make it more enjoyable and more engaging for you, but also others as well. What would you change?
Let's see. I think you remember, I forget what it was. I think it was like a St. Patrick's Day event they had or something like that, where it was like pretty much in Tharbad, and it was like a
battle coach.
Battle coach. There you go. I would have something like that. But open like all the way up to sub-legend level, and just have that as a part of the game similar to Mirror, where you can go in and
arena
arena style, like learn how to PK, like get that, have your friends target you, have your friends chase you around, have practice tracking, because oh my god, that's what I'm the worst at. People walk away 3 rooms and I'm like, where'd they go? But
it's so wild how popular that event was, even to non-PKers, and how that hasn't happened again, Like, everyone talks about that, including the people who don't PK.
If that could be something that they, like, implemented permanently, like, as a, maybe not even open all the time, but have, like, set hours or something for, like, that would just
Saturdays.
Be cool.
Saturday battle coach.
Yeah, exactly.
What I know is, so we've actually kind of bugged Rogan about this a little bit. One thing I figured out about MUME is like, just like good ideas don't really matter. Like the game evolves organically, so you can't like no amount. We could all go to some retreat in the Himalayas and meditate and reach consensus after 10,000 hours of discussion. It wouldn't make any difference.
I'd be down.
It would be fun. I would enjoy doing it, but it wouldn't actually change. Exactly. Yeah. So what Rogan has said is he doesn't want a situation where that some type of instance arena based thing fractures the game or partitions the game, and so people
Well,
stop doing that. Yeah,
maybe making it like a monthly event or something.
yeah. I'm sure. Or what I
Right.
think the best idea is if you should be able to earn something in PvE, which you then cash in for some buff or bonus in the arena.
Ooh.
So something that you do in the game gives you some, like trivial points or something that gives you some, which I think is kind of like the what are they called in World of Warcraft Battlegrounds? What is it called? There's something in
I have no
WoW
clue.
like that,
I've
but it's
never
like
played
you're,
that game.
it's like
Well-
you're, they have some concept like that where, you take in your equipment and stuff into the arena. But yeah, I think that I have a research project that actually Nick is helping me on. Thank you, Nick. But I'm trying to study or kind of analyze the history of PK through logs. And I don't have that, like it's still a long running project. I'm still working on it, but I am increasingly convinced PK has not evolved since 2005. Right? And I think the introduction of Twisted Rock Fragments was the last time the PK game changed. And I mean that I mean that in terms of tactics. I mean that in terms of locations in the games where people PK. And I mean that literally in terms of the players, right? So we've got MUME PK circa 2005, and then we've got MUME PvE, which has evolved beautifully. And I think especially in the last 4 or 5 years, I think the management is doing an amazing job at evolving the PvE in the world, but I just don't think PK is changing at all, or has changed in 17 years now.
Yeah, I think a part of that might be just like the high stakes there. So like
Exactly.
you have people that just don't enjoy it. You have people that just don't want to die and lose everything.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just
Yeah, like
I don't know. I know they have like those things implemented like shadows and stuff, and like what is that other one that I can never remember, but I've never actually had to deal with it before. The one where you die and you can't come back.
Oh, the shadow, was it shadow
Yeah,
death
shadow
or
death. Yeah,
something
there you
like
go.
that. Yeah,
Yeah. So like they've implemented those kind of things where it's like
that's just
supposed to
prevent
help you
your
out.
rage dying.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
one is, but then like your shadow itself prevents
Yeah.
automatic gacking kind of thing. So
Pro tip
Um,
to people: your shadow has a keyword, or at least it used to, which you could locate. And so, if you want to know if your shadow is still alive and you're
Mind
far away
blown.
from it, you can
Mind blown right
locate
now.
that shadow. Very
That's
useful.
cool. I did not know that.
You can also
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like Phae dash shadow, right? Am I right? I think that's
Gotcha.
the syntax.
Gotcha. That works for corpses too, by the way, which is
Yep,
really helpful.
same with corpses.
You don't have to do calculate 5 corpse. You can just be like
Yeah.
slay a
Yeah.
dash corpse, which is that one.
You
wanna
have, like,
that
an
one
alias
particular
or
is
a
really
button.
For
important.
the record, you can't locate that though, Slaya.
You can't locate the corpse.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't try that. Have you tried that?
No.
Were you over here spamming locate the fake corpse?
No.
Well, I mean, the spell is called locate life, so I not
You
locate
can't.
death.
I wonder.
But I
do-
Can you identify a corpse? Is that a thing? Has anyone tried that?
I'm sure you can. I've never done it though.
That'd be hilarious if you could.
That'd be interesting if it
corpses of
revealed
container.
stats. That would be cool if you identified corpse and it revealed the player's stats.
That's fucking crazy. You can teleport to a corpse then, technically.
But I think ultimately, like, I think I know when they publish the new zones, they're like, and I think we even asked Rogon. He was like, "Oh, we all the new zones." I respectfully disagree. I want to choose my words very, very carefully. I think the building effort and the momentum and the quality that they're achieving with the building is fantastic. And I was like a total doubter. I was a total non-believer on like the ABR. I was like, why we should job on it. But I think that the new zones I don't think have any real correlation with PK at all. I don't think that the building new zones, the current situation with the game, I don't think it's the case that improving new zones enriches PK, increases the amount of PK, or helps people learn PK. I just don't.
Yeah, so I think some of the things that they're doing though are like helping with, the player base. Like what you
Oh,
guys
for
are
sure.
doing
Oh
here.
yeah,
So
that's beautiful.
obviously,
Yeah.
like that increases the PK environment. Obviously, you're gonna have more people playing both sides. So, and it brings back old people who enjoyed PK. So,
But I feel like it increases like uh you know jumping people, or overkilling people, steamrolling them on the road or stuff. But in terms of people who are like, I want to log in and PK tonight, it's still gonna be old
Done.
white, stone door, LBF, East Priest, uh Brogue,
Guardian.
Hidden Camp,
Yeah.
Slag, Hunter.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just still the same. Still, like, that has not changed. That
And
literally has not changed.
actually, an
in 20 years.
an interesting point to add on to that. Not too long ago, maybe a couple years, there's smugglers that are near small stream crossing. Everyone knows those guys. That used to not be there that long ago, and it was specifically put in. Like, it's not a new zone. Like, the zone was the same, but that little area was put in specifically. I forget by who. I think it was maybe like 4 or something. But it's just a tiny little area. And the entire point of that, I've been told, was they wanted to create a new PK spot. Because you got a key in there, you got a couple blockable exits. That was literally the entire point that it was put there. And
Isn't that where the cinnamon loads?
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
the cinnamon load spot.
Yeah, I was
it's
gonna
the
say, I
same
thought
thing.
that was the point of it.
No, the point.
No, they added it first, and then years later they added the cinnamon.
Yeah, but the point of that was this is supposed to be a PK spot, and no one PKs there because I guess it just wasn't originally a PK spot, and now when even though
they
that
added
was,
in.
yeah, go ahead.
South. I think, is it southeast of Haldor? There is that little area where there's a delayed exit, and then it's a vertical tower. There's like there's a slug and some orc mobs in there. It's like a tiny.
Where's this?
It's off. It's like Holland Road, southwest of Kuzer. I think it's southeast of Haldor. It's near that branch down there.
I know what you're talking about. The tower.
Yeah, it's like
It's
a small tower of like 4 rooms vertically, and then the very top room you can actually that was one of the, when they tried to add a new PK area, like whenever that was 6-7 years ago, that was one of them, but I don't think it ever took. Like I don't think the current overall balance of the PK ecosystem, I don't think new territory changes anything, because everybody is so good. Everybody is obsessed about controlling the terrain and controlling their environment, and there's enough areas on that kind of old white to knock axis, Slayer or Veil Tower axis. There's enough good PK options on that axis that, like, why go anywhere
What
else?
if there was an item like rocks, but it blocks the door? What about that? Like, just like
I think a
sludge?
block door scroll would be amazing. They put a block
I've
door
been saying
scroll.
that for a while because, like,
Yeah.
give them a disposable, like the opposite of that. I mean, Zorks would love it, you know.
That would level the playing field. So
That would get some people in him and put that shit all the way far east of him, and everybody be spamming him.
Yeah.
I
So
like
sorry to interrupt real quick. My dad
No, go
got
ahead.
back to me. I asked him, how he found MUME, and he's so funny. He's old. I love him. He said MUME.com, I believe. He goes, wait, nope, and then he sent me a screenshot of MUME.org. And I was like, no, Dad. Like, when you started playing it back in 1991, come on. And he goes, oh, I got an invite from one of the creators.
Oh, that's so
Oh,
cool.
I'm like,
wow.
okay.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So,
I wonder who that was.
I have no clue. He said he doesn't remember. He says he was a friend of a friend, and I was like, oh, okay.
Networking.
But yeah,
So I like your idea, Meg, of having like a permanent arena. I
train
see.
to teach people.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
because it's never fun when you just always fucking die. Like that's not fun. When you have a fighting chance, or you have like some kind of technique, you kind of have like a method to it, or like you have that experience, then obviously. And I know so many people are like, oh well, you have to do it to get that experience, but like nobody likes to fucking die.
Some people like to learn to ride a bike with training wheels, and then you take the training wheels off. Some people just ride the bike. There's different ways of learning. And
yeah, exactly. And some people get it better and faster than others, and it really is an art all in its own. so it's not just something that you can just throw
I was
people
gonna say,
into kind of thing.
I think the I think Rogan's point that he's made too, and it's a valid concern of the idea of like, well, if you have this essentially a dungeon within the game or whatever that people disappear to, and so just like Mirror, I mean, I would say any criticism that you make of that you could also level at Mirror, because Mirror's the exact same. People have disappeared for an hour or however long Mirror takes. I think less than an hour, whatever. But they're in the who list, but you can't send them a tell. They can't respond to you. They are effectively playing another game for an hour.
Yeah, but it'd be really cool though if it was like two-sided. Like if there was a hidden entrance somewhere outside Bree, and then there was a hidden entrance somewhere around Nock that, like people could go in, and you still see them on Who and stuff, but they're just in there, like bullshitting and battling the other team. Like that'd be pretty cool.
And you could even have that in the who is have a status in the arena or whatever. But I mean you could even have it just like they do with Mirror. You could have a cooldown period. So I mean with Mirror it can't be constantly done, and you have to wait a week to do it.
That'd be cool too. So I think like so I really don't know how to improve the PK aspect of it. I think one way to improve like game like overall fairness, I guess, would just be to like randomize certain load spots of things, and I've been saying that for a while. So
that's kind of an interesting idea.
Yeah, like I mean I get the lore and stuff, some items are meant to be there because it makes sense, but doesn't have to be exact, I feel like. And things could definitely like move. I don't know anything about coding. I don't know how hard that would be for Jahara. Nils is pretty good though, so he could be able to do it. I have faith in him. Throwing him under the bus right now, so you should get on that.
He'll just delete a couple more news boards and it'll be fine. That'll be fine.
Yeah, right. So, but I do gotta let you guys get going, so I apologize for cutting out early. But I have a friend here from Switzerland that I have to take back to the airport. So.
That's
That is such a stupid excuse, but it's fine.
I know,
it's okay.
right?
I hope your friend brought you some Swiss chocolate.
Dude, she bought me something better, and it was Swiss cheese. Oh my god, so good. Yeah, and I asked her, I was like, "Isn't that illegal?" And she was like, "Not as you don't know it is."
No, nudge,
like,
nudge, wink, wink.
Yeah, she was like, "I figured if they asked me, I would just play innocent because I didn't know better." I was like, "You're bad."
Well, hey, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Phae. Really appreciate it. Hope you had a good time, and
yeah, I definitely miss you guys. So miss the others.
Thank you so much, Meg.
In parting, do you have like a 5-second hot take you want to drop on us?
Again, if there's something you want, just get a group, ask. Can never hurt to ask, and there's always at least one thing I've learned. There's always people on that are willing to help. So, and meeting people in real life and stuff like that's pretty cool too. So, MUME events would be great. I know they did one a long time ago, but seeing that again, like on a larger scale, would be pretty cool too.
Damn, that was like inspirational. That wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's
BFFs for life. No, I'm just kidding.
Everyone's invited to the next Balrog.
Yes. Oh man, I miss Balrog. I hear somebody else is starting a group up though, so it's good.
Ooh, I didn't know about
someone's.
that.
Yeah, you didn't hear?
No. I'm too lame over here doing podcasts.
Yes, you weren't invited.
All right, but hey, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. See you guys
Thanks,
later.
Meg. Take care.
Bye.
See ya.
Take it easy.
Thank you. Yeah.
We'll wrap out. We'll wrap up in the next couple minutes here.
Is it the 90s? Are you going to do a meme rap?
Yeah. No, that's Mike's job.
Wiki. I'll make the noises. I can like beatbox or something.
No, that's true. That was really fun. Do you guys have any hot takes of your own before we hop out? Nice. I like. Okay, here we
that
go.
was our hot take.
That was
Put him on the
you go,
spot.
Peter. Do you have one? Go.
Put him on the spot. I wouldn't say that I got necessarily a hot take or anything. One thing I have noticed though that I want to say, so the Discord got reorganized recently, and there's been so much freaking activity, which is amazing to see. So specifically, we like moved random runes into like that's like now like it's got like a communication section, and we got like in-game stuff, and there's this new like war channel where you like see like when the last players were killed and stuff. It's so cool, and I've just seen this huge outburst of like community production and involvement. Like people are posting all kinds of artwork from you, which I want to showcase, and people have great ideas, and people are helping out with newbies. I know at some point someone posted and tried to get your help, Nick, with a newbie recently. Like I'm very floored with how much like the momentum of the community is really kicking off here. It's fantastic to see.
Which reminds me, I need to go back in there and check the messages. I skimmed through the newbie channel. I didn't skim through any of the others, but I was impressed by the quality of assistance that was being given in that channel. I definitely approve of what's being done there. I think that's awesome. So I mean, for the people that are kind of permanent fixtures on the server there, that good work. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Player Baka, and Relum also has been helping out, and a bunch of other people. But
good people. Good people.
Doing a great job. I feel a little bit bad. I don't really feel bad. Relum, we were talking the other day, and I just basically shat on his age the entire time. But it's fine. It's fine. I love you, Relum. It's fine. Anyway, I think that's pretty much a good place to end it here, unless you guys got anything else.
No. All right.
Awesome.
Think you're great.
Think we're good.
Great.
Yeah.
Great job, Meg.
MUME Talk 24. That was Phae.
That's a wrap.
That is a wrap. You know what, dude? We haven't done an outro in a bit. You got an outro for us?
I know. Outro is very draining for me. My artistic process is very
need more time.
Very taxing.
More time to recharge. More time to. All right, we'll just hit it then. We'll just. This is MUME Talk 24 signing out. Peace out, baby.
Pew pew pew.